Okay, good. I got to sand some Botswana.
You don't have to start yet because no one's watching.
That's okay. We're just going to talk until there's someone here.
Okay.
Sanding Botswana agates.
And a few Botswana agates. Unfortunately, they weren't mine, but
No.
I still got to work on some.
I got to go in the lapidary this week, amazingly. I got to sand some calves. It was nice to spend some time at a wheel again. Don't get much of that when you're running shows all spring, but now that that's over, maybe I'll get to cut some rocks. So, how are we doing, Evan? A few more? Okay, well, I'm going to start.
Okay,
Okay,
here we go.
here we go. Hi, everyone. My name is Veronica Woods, and this is my dad, Eugene Mueller. And we are the co-owners of the Gem Shop, but we are not just, the Gem Shop is not just us anymore. We have some very loyal and wonderful people with us today who are our employees. You may have called the shop in the past and had the pleasure of talking to Stephanie or Sandra or Annie. Can you guys say hi if you're here? I swear I heard them.
They're here, but
They're
not
here. They're really here. No. We also have two of our newer employees, Corey and Sherry, who, although they've only been with us for about 4 months, they already feel like an asset to our team. We are all here virtually to bring you the beauty of the world of agates and other materials.
We're back.
Okay.
It turned off like it did with your camera.
We're back.
Oh,
Sorry about that. Technical
we're back.
difficulties. That happens. Virtually, the Gem Shop team is here. We are here to help you. So if you have questions about rocks that you found last summer, or more questions about what the feed was, or something that popped in your mind that you wanted to talk to Jean about after we're done talking about Agua Nueva, feel free to email us or comment down below. We definitely will try to get back to every single one of you. So, Jean, we're here to talk about Agua Nueva. And I wanted to, well, first we're going to talk about Agua Nueva. Then we'll go through our live feed of things for sale. And then we're going to talk about a story about a chicken. Is that right?
Probably.
Okay. Well, that sounds interesting. How many times have you mined Agua Nueva, Jean?
The Gem Shop has been involved with Agua Nueva agate for a very long time, since it first came out. And the first time we mined Agua Nueva was in 1997, and there are 2 deposits on the Agua Nueva ranch. What is known as a nodular deposit we mined 3 times, and the vein agate deposit we've mined at least 7 times.
Okay, you mentioned there's 2 deposits on the Agua Nueva ranch. Tell me about those deposits and where they are relative to the other agate deposits in Mexico.
Okay, there are 2 deposits that are under claim on the ranch. One claim is called Mi Sueño, and the other claim is called Agua Nueva after the ranch. Just so that you understand where the Agua Nueva ranch is, we're going to look at this map. This is a map of Mexico.
So you don't have a pointer.
This is the Mexico-U.S. border, and this is El Paso, and this is Chihuahua City. And there is a highway that runs from El Paso south to Chihuahua City. And about 3/4 of the way down, you can see right here, there's a little road that runs off to the left here to a little town of Esperanza. The Agua Nueva Ranch is about 3/4 of the way to Esperanza from the highway. I don't know if you can see it on the map or not, but there is a little lake right here. That is Ojo Laguna. And there are 2 towns right here. One is Ojo Laguna, the other one is called Estacion Ojo Laguna, which is on the other side of the lake. And to the east of Estacion Ojo Laguna, there is a mountain range, and that's where all the Laguna agates come from. This is about 20 miles south of the Agua Nueva Ranch.
So you see here that Laguna deposits are here, Agua Nueva here, Coyamito agate is up here. The El Sueco, see other towns listed here, El Sueco, Gallego, Moctezuma. Those are all other agate deposits found in this mountain range to the east side of Highway 45.
The deposits on the Agua Nueva Ranch are very close to a very distinctive mountain. The mountain is kind of wedge shaped, and it has two fault lines running through it, creating divots in the peripheral view of the mountain. This mountain can actually be seen from the Highway 45, 10 kilometers away, and the Misueño deposit is on the southwest side of the mountain, and the Agua Nueva deposit is on the northeast side of the mountain. The agate from the deposits are slightly different. The Misueño deposit is primarily a vein agate, a moss agate with gold, red and white moss agate with very colorful banding pockets and tube formations in it. Excuse me. The Agua Nueva deposit on the other side of the mountain is primarily a nodular agate with some moss around the outside edge of the nodule.
So the gem shop has been selling Agua Nueva agate for a lot longer than we've been digging it. In fact, here's something I found cleaning the office this week. I'm sure all of you have started working and cleaning your houses probably by this time. This is one of the first ads we ever produced for Agua Nueva. The name is spelled wrong, and it's from 1981. So that was a nice little piece of history to find, especially before today.
Back at that time in the late 70s and early 80s, there were many, many rock shops in El Paso, Texas. And all the agates that were coming from the various agate locations were delivered to the dealers in El Paso, and they would distribute them into the rest of the country. There was a rock dealer there by the name of Richard Vaughn, Vaughn's Lapidary, I think was it. He had a huge rock yard with tons and tons of rock in it. And I was visiting Richard one time, and a week before, a Mexican had came up to him and sold him a bunch of rock, and he asked me if I would like to look at it. And I looked at it, it was this fantastic tube agate with the yellow and purple and red tubes in it. And I ended up buying it all. And Richard at that time said to me that he was in the process of retiring and didn't want to be involved too much more with the developing agate sources in Mexico, and asked me if I would be interested in working with the Mexican person who brought the agate to him. And I said, sure. And he introduced me to Rodolfo Quevedo, who was mining the agate on the Agua Nueva Ranch. Rodolfo did not own the Agua Nueva Ranch and had no interest for the Agua Nueva Ranch, but he loved agates, and he owned a ranch further to the north, north of Coyamito Ranch. And he had his workers, he had some workers who were lived close to the mining and would mine the rock by hand. They worked all by hand. And then he would bring the rock to Richard Vaughn's place in El Paso, and Richard would sell it to the gem shop, or I would go pick it up at his place in El Paso. This And then Rodolfo contacted me and said, "I'm sorry, Gene, but there isn't going to be any more agate. It's done. There'll be no more. For at least 10 years, there'll be no more." And that's the last I heard. I didn't get any explanation or...
Did you ever find out why the agate suddenly became more unavailable?
Yes, it was 10 years later, in the early 1990s somewhere, when I was actually had the opportunity to go down and visit the claim itself and found out what actually happened. And it turns out that Rodolfo's miners were working and they ran out of food. Now this is a little bit remote and it's a long way to go get supplies. So they decided, well, all right, we'll just kill one of the Agua Nueva cows and then eat that. So they butchered a cow and survived for a while longer. When the ranch found out that the miners had butchered one of their cows, they said, "That's it. You guys are gone. There's not going to be any more mining on this ranch for a long time."
So your last mining operation for Agua Nueva agate with the gem shop was almost exactly a year ago.
Yes.
From today, you were down there in Mexico about a year ago, and this mining operation was much different. How was it different, and what was the end result?
Okay. Mining in Mexico is always a complicated process, especially for somebody who doesn't live there. And a year and a half ago, we had made plans to do a mining operation, and a lot of those plans or parts of those plans fell through, and so it looked like we were going to have to cancel the mining operation. But I thought that, well, maybe there is another solution. So I contacted Hector Carrillo from Gem Center and asked him if they'd be interested in doing a joint mining venture on the Misueño claim. This was an advantage to both of us because they have equipment, and the equipment was only 30 miles away from the Misueño claim. This was also very advantageous because they had two machines, so we were using two machines on the claim. I've never mined there before with two machines. And another big plus was that we had very good workers. We had 2 to 4 workers there the whole 5 weeks that we were mining there. Adolfo, who is one of Hector's employees, can do anything. He can fix anything. He can run anything. He's just an amazing person. And another worker whose name I don't know, but everybody just called him Turkey. He had an eye for things. I mean, he could see an agate out of the corner of his eye 10 yards away and had a sense of where things were. He had an idea, underneath there's going to be some good agate. So we had very good workers and 2 pieces of equipment. I'd run the excavator and Adolfo would run the loader. So in that time, we produced about 18 tons of the moss agate and about 3 tons of the high-grade material.
I'm going to show some of the rocks that you pulled out and saved from that last mining operation. Evan, can you get this? So this is one of the vein agates from last year's mining operation. And you can see that it's a fairly large vein, that the moss is on the bottom with the banding on the top of the seam.
There are spots.
And this one here, is a tube formation. Can you get that, Evan? And this has really nice orange on purple. These are just raw pieces from that mining operation.
The veins themselves are generally moss, and then they on the top of the vein, or what is the top of the vein, you get a hollow spot or a section of the vein that fills up with banding and tubes. And especially in the beginning, the Agua Nueva vein agate was noted for these purple tubes. And occasionally, you find some really beautiful purple agate.
So should we look at some of these agates?
Yes.
All right, so we're going to start our live feed now. We are going to start with some of those Agua Nueva agates that we were just talking about. These first three are all from the nodular claim. This one is number 113 here. You can see some of that moss formation around the outside of the nodule that Jean was talking about, and some of the banding that's in the center. These first three are going to be $40 each. Number 114, $40. Can you get closer to them, or should I pull them up to you?
I got it.
I got it. I got it.
Nice.
Number 115, go ahead.
The nodular Agua Nueva agate has some characteristics that are a little different from, say, the Laguna or Corimito or many of the other agates. The nodular Agua Nueva tends to have a pair of bands, a very contrasting bands, somewhere close to the outside of the agate. And you can see on these the very high contrast in that area. That is a characteristic that it occurs somewhat in Corimito agate, but it's very well noted in the Agua Nueva agate. Also, all the Agua Nueva nodules contain some moss, and that is another characteristic that can help identify whether the agate is Agua Nueva or Laguna or Corimito or something else.
Just finishing up a few of the nodules here. These next four pieces are all from the vein agate claim, the Mi Sueño claim. And you can see the variety of color straight off the bat. Here's a white and brown one with some really nice tube formations. These are all going to be $40 each. That's number 109. This is number 111, $40. This is as gorgeous as purple gets in an agate, I swear. The Agua Nueva is some of the best material, has that beautiful purple color and that gold moss. This is a little vein. It's actually not a nodule. It's the corner of a vein where the banding formed in the corner. Number 110 there, $40. Ooh, focus.
I can't do anything about that.
Okay. Here's a red one with some nice tube formations in the bottom here. Has a quartz center. Number 112. I'm upside down, aren't I? There we go. $40. I have a request to go back to the first batch. Certainly can. These three, the first batch, are all what I call like the end of the bread loaf, the heel. A heel cut. It's and commonly when nodular agates are cut with Agua Nueva, that's cut that way. You just cut a little slice off the end first. Why is that, Jean?
The Agua Nueva nodular deposit contains a huge number of agates that are quartz, have quartz in the center, and in order to maximize the quality of your specimen, 2/3 or cut somewhere close to the surface, oftentimes you get a much more spectacular specimen cutting it that way than you would just cutting it right in half. And that one you can see as an example of how better it looks on one side than the other.
So a few more. This next shelf here of Agua Nueva nodules are all $75 each. So $75 on this one. Beautiful polished surface. Number 117. So all you need to do here is mention the number that you see here if you are interested in the piece. And one of our virtual team members will get a hold of you after the live feed to follow up. Number 121 here, $75. The first person to put the number in the comments feed is the lucky new owner of the agate. Some beautiful pink, rose, and yellow banding there with the dark center. Number 122. So one of the more common questions I get, Jean, is how do you tell an Agua Nueva agate different from a Laguna agate?
I just sort of answered that. You can't always tell. But those characteristics are a clue, especially having the moss in the agate somewhere. There are Agua Nueva agates that are cut in such a way that you will not see any moss, but that just means that the moss in the nodule was on the other end of the nodule.
Number 119, $75. This is number 120. I realized today that it's impossible to get rocks to like tape. They just keep on shedding. That's a whole nodule back. If you have any other questions like regarding size or weight on these, simply let us know and we will follow up after tonight's feed. This has a nice curved surface to it. Whole nodule back, number 123, $75. We have a question here about this agate here. This agate is number 111. $40 on that. So the last batch of Agua Nuevas that we're going to show you tonight are all $125 each. This first one is from the vein formation. You want to comment on this one?
Well, this is a fairly typical vein formation. See, it's generally a moss agate, but then here is this banding pocket in the center. You never know for sure where those are going to pop up or what kind of colors they'll have.
Number 124 on that one. Beautiful mustard yellow color. Number 125 is another end cut, but fairly large. Let's see here. 6 inches across, 6 by 5. Beautiful yellow banding pattern throughout those purple tubes. 125. Can you... Here are 2 more. Here's another nice example of that purple and yellow that is commonly found in the vein material. Number 126, $125. Here's an Agua Nueva from the nodular claim. And this one, I just love these tube formations that have the moss growing inside the tube. So beautiful. This one has a curved surface and a crystal quartz center, but those tubes are just amazing. Here's another beautiful purple piece with that red and yellow moss on the edge. Number 128, 125. Last nodule here. Number 129 has a broken back, but a full nodule. Can you zoom out, Evan? This one is 5 inches by 3 inches.
Kind of unusual colors.
Very light colors in this nodule. Number 129. Next, we're going to show some geodes. We're going to break away from Agua Nueva for a minute and, Evan, go to some geodes. So these first geodes that we're going to show here are called Tabasco Geodes. They're also called Ilionites. In fact, they were known as Ilionites prior to being Tabasco Geodes. Numbers 1 through 30, this first tray here, are going to be $12 a pair. Can you get a little closer without... So these are $12 a pair. So numbers 1 through 30, $12 a pair. Tabasco Geodes are the world's tiniest geode. They form in hard rock just like other agates do. They are from a town called Tabasco, Mexico, and that is how they got their second name. We do have some raw pieces here to show you what they look like without being cut in half. Can we show these real quick? These are little Ilionites. These are Tabasco Geodes that haven't been cut. There you go. Do you remember what number you were on, Evan? All right. So Evan's going through here this first tray. Grandpa, can you go see what Isaac's snapping for? Number 13. These are all $12 a pair. So geodes are fun for a lot of different reasons. Kids love them. People love the Tabasco Geodes because they are wonderful to set into jewelry. And they have just some fantastic druzy pockets and colors. Such a wide variety of color found in each of these. There's a slightly yellow pair, number 19. These again are $12 a pair. Some nice light blue in 21. Number 22 has a pastel-y pink and blue mixture to it. Kind of cool. Really nice white druzy in 23. This one has a slight water banding on the edge here. Number 25 there, $12 a pair. Numbers 1 through 30 are all 12. Now, at the end of this tray, Sandra's going to try to post a picture of the tray I sent her earlier, just so you guys have a reference to what we just showed you. We're kind of going a little fast through these things because we have so much to show you tonight. So now, Sandra, if you could post that first picture I sent you of numbers 1 through 30, that'd be great. Here we go. Numbers 31 through 58, this entire tray, are going to be $15 a pair. $15 a pair on these. Ooh, that's number 37 is pretty. A nice peach color.
Jean, do you have any experience with how the Illinites have been mined or manufactured?
A very small amount. They're in a in a rock. They're fairly close together, and at the time that Arturo was mining them, he bought a log splitter to help mine the agates. He'd get a big block of them and he'd put them in the log splitter, which kind of crushed the rock. It squeezed the rock, and that allowed them to get out the little geodes out of the host rock, which was pretty
Squeeze
hard.
them out.
Yeah,
Wow.
he crushed it.
He just crushed them.
Squeezing.
Huh. I know there are 2 claims in that area, and these geodes that I have the opportunity to pick through for the gem shop all come from one of those claims. They're all processed and cut in Mexico and polished there too. Okay. Well, we tried. So going through here, again, numbers 31 through 58, Tabasco Geodes. All of these are $15 a pair. That's the last pair. It has cut through a tube right there. Really cool. Numbers 59 through 74 are all going to be $10 a pair. These are the tiniest, the smallest pairs that we sell. It's equivalent to our small size. Water banding in that pair. All of these have such a nice little coating of tiny little quartz crystals in the center that really give that sparkle when put in the light. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed if you have like something set with the Tabasco Geode in jewelry and it gets a little not as sparkly anymore. Simply take some Dawn detergent and an old toothbrush and just scrub out those little crystals and they'll shine up again. Number 69 there. Again, numbers 59 through 74 are $10 a pair. Some nice, really variegated color on 72. 73 is really nice and dark. All right, the next set of numbers we have are 75 through 85, and this will sum up our Tabasco Geodes. 75 through 85 are all going to be $18 a pair. They are the extra large size that we have. This is as big as they usually come. They don't get much bigger than this very often. $75 through 85, again, are all $18 a pair. Love that one. So pretty. Number 83, 84, and then 85. That sums up the Tabasco Geodes for $18 a pair. The next thing we have here are some cabochons from the Agua Nueva mining operations. Jean has cut. All of these cabs are cut in our lapidary. So here, these cabs we're starting with number 86. The pairs are $22. These are specially priced for our live feed. These are not listed on our website, but we have many other Agua Nueva cabs listed there, thegemshop.com. There's such a glare. Number 92, 93 has some nice moss formations in them. That's it, Jean. You're polishing too well. It's reflecting too much in the camera. This next set of cabs here we have are all $40 each. specially priced for our live feed. If you have any other questions, if you want specific measurements, comments in the comments below, please let us know what you're attracted to. We will get you that information that you need. Can we lift this up here and try to get a better angle on those? They're just so full of glares. $103 there, some nice green moss. Again, these single cabs are $40 each. Specially priced for our feed tonight. There we go. So we're gonna do some Agua Nueva tubes. You ready, Evan? Over here. So Agua Nueva agate is known for its tube formations, and sometimes Gene hits a pocket of these tubes and he just mines them out and we sell them like mineral specimens versus cutting them. Some of them he has cut into some gorgeous cabs, but some are just here to appreciate on their natural tubey formations. Here is numbers 130 through 133, and these are all $40 each. $40 for this tube agate. Number 130 there. So Jean, would you cut this one? Look at that nice druzy in there and the purple, pinkish purple.
Yes, I'd be tempted to cut that one.
You would be tempted to cut this one because it's not perfect as a specimen. Some of the tubes can get really big, and then this one is coated with tiny quartz crystals all over the top. I've seen people cut these and slice them to get a stalactite slice, like they do for the Uruguay amethyst tubes. Number 132 on that one. I keep on showing them upside down. Number 133, last one for the $40 tubes. The next set of tube agates that we have are all going to be $30. Numbers 134, 135, 136, 137, and 138. Can you get the whole thing, honey? I suppose I shouldn't be talking to my cameraman like he's my honey. This is number 135 here. This is really cool because you see the bridge. Can you get that, Evan? There we go. This is number 135, 134, 136 here. These are all $30. Jean, you want to tell us about tubes? You have anything to say about tubes?
Well, they're amazing when you find them. You can have a vein of the moss agate going along and be solid moss, and then all of a sudden in the top of the vein you find this hollow place, and usually there'll be a banding pattern and they'll be full of tubes. And the tubes go up from the vein and also come down from the top of the vein.
So finishing up on number 138 here. So you can see them all. We have 134, 135, 136, 137, and 138. And those are all $30 each. The next batch we have here are all $10 each. $10 each on these. Numbers 139, 140, 141, 142, 143, and 144. This is a great piece for $10. So cute. Look at all that druzy. That's number 139. This is 140. $141. $142. $143. $144 is so cute. So I know that we show you a lot of specimens and rough rock. I had to throw this in here because Mother's Day is coming. So we have Agua, Nueva, Agate jewelry for sale. Can you just scan over them? So each and every one is set in sterling silver. The Agua Nueva agate. This cab was cut at the gem shop. The rest were cut in India. We sold some of the rough material. We sold some of the rough material to a manufacturer in India, and I bought the pieces back from him because I knew where the rock came from. So I'm going to try to show this to you a little bit nicer here. Each one of these has a sterling silver chain and is set in sterling silver, and they are all $50 each. Do you have another light? Like this light? Looks good. Turn that right off. It didn't work. Nope. This one, the silver work, is done by Kathy Lang here in Cedarburg. Jean, do you ever buy your wife jewelry?
I cut stones for her and have them set every year.
Oh, good man. Okay, next we're going to do our cutting corner with Jean. Cutting corner, right? So here we go on to some rough material, and we're going to talk a little bit about the rough material. We have 4 different types of rock here in our cutting corner. And the first type of rock we have here is the select grade of the Agua Nueva.
Yeah, as I explained earlier, the vein material is primarily a moss agate, but occasionally it develops into these pockets where you have wonderful banding and druzy and tubes formation. So this is the select material, which is selected out of the general moss agate, and it has more of the druzy and tubes and banding and color.
The next item we have here is the moss, what we call Agua Nueva moss.
This is really from the same veins, but this is mostly moss, but you can never tell. You can a little center can pop up with purple banding. Like here's one right here with druzy in it.
On our website, you can go to thegemshop.com and order there, or you can simply comment in the feed section here. The Agua Nueva agate select is $30 a pound, and the Agua Nueva moss agate is $15 a pound. Item 161 on the moss, item 160 on the select. So the next item we have here is Rhodochrosite, and awesome. We got this material in Tucson as well this year. We just put it up on our website today. We're working on getting all of the new materials on our website. This Rhodochrosite is from Peru. Usually you'll see Rhodochrosite on the market from Argentina, but it's become harder to get and not as prevalent on the market, I guess. So we went for some other areas where we knew some deposits were and imported this into Tucson. You can see that this material has a slightly different color than the Argentinian pink. It is more of a fleshy pink, but it has some nice translucent areas and some nice banding. This material goes for $75 a pound, is available on our website, or by saying number 162 in your feed, and we will contact you and see how we can help. The last material we have here is Bloodstone. This material is from India. We did import this material for Tucson as well. Jean, can you talk about the jasper?
Yes, Bloodstone is getting a little rarer material that primarily comes from India, and it's a green jasper with small red inclusions that look like little spots of blood when you cut it. A lot of people don't even recognize it in the rough because you just see the green jasper, and you have to look closely, and then you'll see the little tiny red spots.
Awesome. Thank you. So the last thing we wanted to show you are the 6 different types of geodes that the Gem Shop carries. And, oh, we forgot to do the whacking cracks. That's fine. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'll bring them over there. So the first type of geode that Evan's on right there are the new amethyst geodes that we've been mining in Mexico. Mining has come to a screeching halt at the moment. But we do also offer these amethyst geodes in one of our whack and crack tubes. These tubes are perfect little gifts for kids, or, you know, if you have a budding geologist who wants to learn the surprise of what's inside. These amethyst geodes are better broken open than they are sawed, and you can see here what is inside. These double terminated amethyst crystals, they look like little Herkimer diamonds. Here's another one. So these amethyst geodes are from Sonora. They sell for $6 a pound on our website, or by texting that number 159 in the feed. Or if you want to order a tube of whack and crack amethyst editions, these are $9.99 each. Our next type of geode that we have here are called candy geodes. We've had these for quite a few years. Mined by Don Burrow of Crystal City in Arkansas. It has a thunder egg type center, and these candy geodes sell for $8 a pound, or number 158 in the feed. Crystalline geodes, mined by Gem Center USA. These are also like a lens type or a thunder egg type geode. They are $8 a pound, or number 157 in the feed. Next we have the largest of the geodes that we offer, the Truncus geodes. You can see that they are much bigger in size and can't really cut these on a trim saw, but most of the other ones we can. Once we open our doors again, we cut geodes for the kids all the time. It's so much fun. Pound on the truncus, or number 156. Ojo De Sonora Geodes. These just went up on the website today. These are new to us at the gem shop. We searched these down. They're very similar to the crystalline geodes. In fact, I'd be surprised if those deposits weren't right next to each other. Ojo De Sonora, $8 a pound, or item number 155. And we also offer our sugar geodes. These sugar geodes are from Morocco. The rest of what I just showed you is from Mexico. These are the most common geodes that you find on the market. They have some beautiful sugary centers, hence the name sugar geodes. They're also called potato geodes because they look like potatoes on the outside. But they are all those Moroccan geodes. And we do offer these Moroccan geodes in our Whack and Crack line. The Whack and Crack short stack here has the sugar geodes. Those are $9.99. And the tall stack is $12.99. The tall stack has 5 to 6 geodes inside, 4 to 6 geodes inside, and these have 3 to 4. And we're going to scan over the geodes one more time so people can see the variety of. And then we're going to go to Jean and talk about a chicken. So what is this we hear about a chicken, and why are you talking to chickens? Just kidding.
People want to hear these mining stories, and so I was just finishing up. This is a story from the Agua Nueva mining operation. It was the second mining operation in 1998, and it just finished. A friend of mine, Tom Lane, was with me during this whole operation, and when the time came to leave, we moved the machine, the excavator, to the road, and had the truck pick up the excavator. Then you go back to the mine, and I have a travel trailer there. We hooked up the travel trailer and brought it to the hacienda. I did not get to talk about the Agua Nueva hacienda, but let me just mention here that it is a beautiful place, and there is a tour of the hacienda on our website. You can go and look there. So I got my trailer to the hacienda, and Tom Lane and myself and Danielle. Danielle is the foreman of the Agua Nueva Ranch and was running things, and we're talking about the operation and saying our goodbyes, and just getting ready to leave. We talked for maybe an hour, and then Tom left. We went our separate ways at that time. I checked the trailer out, closed up the trailer, checked the hitch, and got ready to leave. The road from the Agua Nueva Ranch to the highway is roughly 10 kilometers and is in very poor road. It's a very difficult road to drive the trailer or pull a trailer over. Sometimes you have to go very slow, only 4 or 5 miles an hour. Anyway, I got the trailer to the highway, and then decided, well, I usually stop there and check things over, but there's no really good place to pull off. So I decided to drive to El Sueco and then check things out there. So I got to El Sueco, which has a big gas station, a restaurant, a little store where you can buy some supplies. Pulled off and got out to check things out. And the hitch was okay, the tires are okay, and then I apprehensively was ready to look inside the trailer because I know what happens on that road. And sure enough, I opened the door, and there's silverware laying all over the floor, pots and pans everywhere, because the bump road is so bumpy, it jerks open the cupboards and drawers. So I got into the camper and put everything away. I found some tape. I taped up one of the drawers so that it wouldn't become open so easily. And I turned around, getting ready to leave, and I hear this sound. So I look out the front door. It sounded very close, and there was nothing there. I look out the window on the other side. There's nothing there. All right, so I'm going to leave. I start to go down out of the camper door, and then I look over on the bed, and there's a chicken. Now, when you run into these situations like this where you come to a circumstance that you're just not expecting or don't think it shouldn't be, it can't be, well, that's what it was like. I stared at that chicken for about 5 or 6 seconds before I realized that it really was a chicken there on the bed. And it became clear to me, well, I had to get this chicken out of the camper. So I went over there and tried to chase it, but it flew to the other end of the camper and stayed there. And then I went over there and it flew back on the bed. And it took me 15 minutes to get this chicken out of the camper. So I chased it out of the camper and got out and closed up the door and took off for the border. Got to the border and got across the border okay. And driving on further, it became time to stop for the night. So I found a place to stop for the night. I pull off and go back in the camper. I'm getting ready for bed. I pull the top cover off my bed, and there on my pillow is an egg. Same kind of situation all over again. This cannot be. This is not real. What is an egg doing there? And then obviously the chicken had decided to lay an egg on my pillow. And again, I didn't know quite what to do for a while. And then I thought, well, all right. I put the egg in the refrigerator and I had it for breakfast the next morning. And then on my way to Wisconsin. When I got back to Wisconsin, I wrote Danielle a long letter, and I said to him, I said in the letter, I explained to him that he may be missing a chicken from the Agua Nueva ranch, and that the chicken's desire to illegally immigrate to the U.S. didn't work out. And he got a big kick out of that. Also, that if he wanted the chicken back, that she was wandering around El Sueco somewhere.
Yay! Thank you, Jean.
Oh, by the way.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Keith for finding the mouse.
Oh. Well, we are going to end today's feed. Thank you, Jean. On a preview for next week, we're going to come over here, and next week, next Thursday, April 16th at 5 p.m., you can join us we're going to talk about the deposits of imperial jasper. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you. We'll see you next week.